Thank you all for joining today. Really excited to be here. I am Monique Perlmutter. I lead the Essentials and Beauty business at Roundel, which is Target's retail media network. I'm really excited for this conversation. This is a very hot topic with a variety of the CPG brands that we work with. So excited to learn a little bit today from our panel. Before we dive in, I'd love to welcome all of you, but have you introduce yourselves. So we'll start with you, Amy.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Amy Babcock. I lead our business development efforts and our partnership with Target, both as a brand and also Roundel with the retail media network side.
Hi, everybody. Vihan Sharma. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of LiveRamp. Have had the opportunity to work with Roundel for over 5 years, so thanks for the invitation.
And I'm Guthrie. I'm VP of Product Management at Roundel.
All right. Thank you. I love the cheering.
Nice.
So let's lay a quick foundation first before we dig in. Data collaboration is becoming key to driving value for all stakeholders, from advertisers, retailers, tech partners, to most importantly, the consumer, who's at the central of everything that we do. The first-party data allows us to create engaging and relevant experiences for consumers, but it also allows us to drive stronger media performance for advertisers, tech partners, and retailers, which really drives total business outcomes. So data collaboration is kind of this buzzword, and it's a little bit of an umbrella term. There are a lot of different approaches you can take. So today we're going to specifically hone in on signal sharing. We're going to talk about that. So without further ado, I will kick it to our panel. So we're going to talk about some learnings from testing across LiveRamp, Trade Desk, and Roundel. We're going to outline some best practices that this group has uncovered throughout this partnership so that hopefully anyone who's interested in doing something similar walks away with like a few good nuggets. So without further ado, I'm actually going to kick it to the panel, and I'm going to kick it to you, Guthrie. So data collaboration, it's a very big buzzword. I'd love to start with you. Can you set the stage and tell us about how Target and Roundel are approaching data collaboration heading into 2025?
Sure, we approach from many different angles. There's clean rooms, of course, and today we're going to talk about signal sharing, so I'm just going to focus there. And I like to say that Target and Roundel are big enough to build but smart enough to partner, and that's really important when it comes to data collaboration because it is a big partnership with many people involved. Signal sharing is us working with LiveRamp as a trusted tech partner that allows us to share really critical signals on the path to purchase with a great publishing partner like the Trade Desk. And that allows us to enable better targeting, better optimization, and better measurement for our brands through the amazing capabilities of these platforms. I think one of the things that, when I say big enough to build, smart enough to partner, one of the key takeaways there is choosing your partners wisely from trust but capability. And one of the things that makes signal sharing work for Roundel so well is that we're leveraging the great tech pipes of LiveRamp, but also the predictive optimization capabilities of the Trade Desk.
Got it. Thank you for that. I love the mantra, big enough to build, smart enough to partner. So on the theme of partnering, Amy, I'm going to kick it over to you. Can you talk a little bit about the predictive AI technology that the Trade Desk has and how you're using AI to impact media results?
Yeah. So as retail media adoption grows, so do marketer expectations. And we're really hyper-focused on driving performance because that's what our advertisers care about. So the Trade Desk has partnered with Roundel and LiveRamp on this first-to-market advanced signal sharing solution. And this innovation is really powered by the awesome omni-channel sales data from Target and also the Trade Desk predictive AI, which we call COA. And it offers advertisers a best-in-class optimization and measurement solution. So you asked about AI. So COA is the Trade Desk's powerful AI-driven predictive engine. It helps surface real-time recommendations and optimizations in the platform in flight so that we can improve campaign performance in real time. And you can think of this as like a virtual automated assistant, especially supporting our programmatic traders, helping them easily uncover opportunities for optimization and also automate those changes. So as you can imagine, that saves a great amount of time, but even more importantly for the advertisers, it means that we can drive your campaign performance faster because we're doing it in real time. And so COA, we employ COA to engage with audiences that align with our advertiser KPIs. In this case, we're very focused on sales, but really the technology works across the full funnel of objectives. And so what it does is it powers data-driven decision-making, real-time optimizations, and audience segmentation, all that align with that advertiser KPI. I feel like we should take a pause on AI for a second. So it's a buzzword. It's maybe been the buzzword of the year or the decade. And so just know when we talk about AI, we're really talking about it as a co-pilot for campaign execution. We think humans should do what we do best, which is hopefully creating strategy, ideating, concepting campaigns, but then we let machines do what they do best, which is the execution. And the sheer volume of optimizations that we have seen is just incredible. So for about 2 months, we tested 10 campaigns, and across those 10 campaigns with Roundel, over 10,000 optimizations were made, which is exponentially greater than we would be able to do if we were trying to do that manually. And again, more exciting because we all want performance, the results have really proved out. And in initial testing, we've seen sales lift increase up to 39%, an average uplift of 10%, and we're just getting started.
Yeah, which is great. It's great for the consumer. They're getting more relevant ads. It's great for the brands. They're getting stronger performance. So we talked about partnership from a Roundel and a Trade Desk perspective. So Vihan, I'm going to kick it over to you. LiveRamp is actually at the heart of this partnership, helping us facilitate the pipes and really integral to the ability to share data in a very consumer private data security way. So can you talk a little bit about LiveRamp's role within this three-way partnership?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me start with 2 points. We talk a lot about collaboration, but it is not something which is just created last year, okay? And second, the role we are playing here is, to your points, creating trust between parties. So if you go back decades, companies have been partnering together on data. They want to share data, but it has been on and off. It's not really a business process which is integrated into the way they transform their companies, the way they communicate with their consumers. And I think with technology, LiveRamp is bringing something to the market which allows you to make this a business practice to increase trust index between parties to drive outcomes. In this particular partnership, we were very fortunate to have 2 very privacy-conscious partners. So Roundel, Guthrie, we have talked about this several times, and Amy, who both came to LiveRamp and gave us the opportunity to innovate so that we can build new connection pipes, which allows Target's first-party data to be connected to the AI ecosystem that Trade Desk is building to deliver media engagements which are personalized and deliver better outcomes.
So trusted partners are important. Partners that have synergy across what everybody's trying to do, really important. So let's shift to what these partnerships deliver. So Guthrie, how does this partnership differentiate Roundel's solutions in the retail media space?
So there's a piece of this that's not unique, right? It doesn't differentiate us because I think a lot of brands and publishers are using data to drive optimizations in smart ways. We call it signal sharing. In other contexts, it's called CAPI for Conversion API. So I think that what differentiates us is the partnership to start with, and that using that tech in that way. But I think the most important thing that differentiates us is the data, and specifically the scope, scale, and quality of that data. So from a scope perspective, we're looking at about 165 million Target guests. 100 million of them are Target Circle members, who, if you don't know, across the street, Circle Week, so get all your deals at Target right now.
There's a Target across the street. Plug.
Yes, quick plug. And we're also doing, so that's a really important part of the scope of what we're doing, but it's, in addition, it's the scale of it. So we're using SKU level, right? So we're using the actual individual products. So when a brand wants to optimize and advertise a new flavor or a certain collection, we're providing that data to make that happen so that they can achieve very specific goals. And I think last, around the quality, is part of it is the freshness, but also I think it's the quality of the partnership. Like, we're working together to figure out what's next. And you heard Amy talk about how it's a general purpose optimization algorithm. What's on the horizon for us is to do what we call browse signals, or the pre-shopping signals. And I think because we're omni-channel, as also mentioned, we're both in-store and online, not just online only, you would also think that the omni-channel component drops when it comes to browse, like pre-shopping behaviors. But in fact, 3 out of 4 Target guests standing in a store are using their app in that store. So we're actually getting in-store shopping signals before purchase through that app. When you talk about Gen Z shoppers, that number becomes, every 20 out of 20 Gen Z shoppers in a Target, 18 of them are using their app in the store. So you're talking about actually true omni-channel shopping behaviors that we're capturing through a digital device that allows us to drive optimizations in a different way. So we're starting with sales, but then you're launching a new flavor. You want to drive awareness. We'll be able to measure that because people are visiting the product detail page in the store. You want to understand consideration. Are they added to list, added to cart? Again, pre-purchase behavior. We're going to be able to do that using these same pipes and the same partnership to drive outcomes for our brands.
Okay, so Roundel does have a unique opportunity in the space, but the overall concept of using the data is maybe not unique. So Vihan, can you talk a little bit about how LiveRamp is able to build data collaboration solutions across the board, maybe not just specific to Target?
Yeah, I think like when you are starting with data collaboration, you need to think about 3 things. You need to think about data, which is available to you. You need to think about use cases and the outcomes you want to deliver. And you need to think about legal, right? So let me dive into all these things in a bit more detail. I think what we see in the market is when you come out and you say, yes, I want to partner with somebody, usually you don't look at what data is available, what data you feel comfortable leveraging in a collaboration partnership. And I think that's the first hurdle. So when you are building out your strategy, identify the data you have available, number 1. Number 2, once you have the data available, you need to partner with your ecosystem to define the use cases that you want to execute on. I think we did a lot of work with you to define like the key use cases and outcomes. And I think this is a best practice because you can do everything. And when you can do everything, you usually don't do anything, right? So I think it's very important to define what are the right use cases. Once the use cases are defined, it is important to have executive alignment across those because not everything is going to work perfectly the first time. So you need to have executives who are part of the story, part of this journey, so that they can actually go and say, yes, this didn't work, but the overarching solution that we are bringing to the market is actually correct. So that's the second thing. And finally, the biggest hurdle of all is legal. I think we all know we can take months, sometimes years, to actually get legal red lines done. And from our perspective, what we think of is have a framework, okay? So when you are going and talking to your legal teams, identify 4, 5, 6 things that everybody is comfortable with, and then build out your ecosystem and your legal framework using those capabilities. And once you have that, I think the technology today at LiveRamp, at others, actually allows you to ensure that legal is no longer a hurdle. And that's kind of, I would say, those 3 things lead to better outcomes from a collaboration strategy perspective. It helps you deliver better customer experiences that everybody, I think, in this room wants to deliver.
Yeah, it's a great framework. Very easy, very, very simple to remember.
Yes.
Maybe not always simple, the legal piece to execute.
Yes.
But let's zoom out from some of these tactical applications for a second and talk about some of the industry expectations. Again, hot topic, how are we applying data collaboration? So Amy, as retail media adoption is soaring, marketers' expectations are soaring as well. I would love to understand from you, how is the trade desk looking at this partnership going into 2025? Are there any considerations, things that you're thinking about, for the upcoming year?
Yeah. Well, offsite retail media, if you've attended a few retail media sessions this week, I feel like you've heard this, but offsite retail media is projected to be the fastest growing form of digital media. According to eMarketer, it's going to grow about 150% over the next 4 years. This presents a really awesome opportunity for all of us here, especially if we're committed to continued innovation like this. And what I think is really interesting is that retail data is so incredibly valuable. It is high quality, verified purchase data that a lot of advertisers may not have the ability to achieve on their own. And so it's there for the taking. And it's also incredibly helpful to meet expectations of both consumers, which you alluded to earlier, and advertisers. So from a consumer perspective, what I think is so interesting is for consumers is us on the marketing side, we've created some silos, some marketing buckets and budgets. If you're a consumer and you see an ad, you don't know if that dollar spent on you or whatever was spent on you came from a national brand budget or a shopper budget. But you do have an expectation and probably react a lot more favorably if you are delivered a seamless experience and personalization. So when you think about what retail can bring to the table, it can absolutely help deliver on those consumer expectations because you have more relevant, granular targeting and more customized messages. And then on the advertiser side, I think there's a growing desire, there definitely is a growing desire from advertisers for more consistency from their retail media partners. They want the ability to optimize in real time and have complete transparency. And measurement is just hands down crucial, with closed loop measurement being, quite frankly, table stakes at this point. And the last kind of piece, because we talked about AI and the execution piece, is the ability of the data to scale. So in this case, Target Roundel, we can scale. And when you have that ability to scale with such high quality data, you can really let the tech go to work and do all the execution and optimization to get the best possible outcomes.
That's great. I think these were all great learnings from the testing that we've been doing. Yeah. So to kind of wrap it up, I'd love to hear from each of you. What is one key takeaway as you think about, what the partnership has brought, what you've learned, and what you might recommend to anyone in the room who's thinking about data collaboration in their future? So let's actually start with you, Amy. Okay. No pressure. Make it a good one.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I think we are at a really interesting point where we can rewrite some rules. Retail data and measurement brings us kind of a new knowledge base to think about how we create strategies, ideate campaigns, helps us give us the green light to maybe think about what does success really look like? Is it different than how we thought about success 5 years ago? So be open to that change, maybe breaking down some of those silos that I just alluded to. Talk to your retail partners, your data collaborations, talk to us, and get excited to rewrite those rules.
Awesome. Vihan?
Yeah, I think, look, I think when we think about 2025, we believe collaboration is going to be a core part of delivering the outcomes that Roundel and Trade Desk and actually the brands want to deliver. You cannot scale something if there is no trust. And we fundamentally believe that if you look at the ecosystem the way it is today, there are many ways of retailers coming together. There are many ways for CPG brands to come together, and we foundationally believe that the architecture of this ecosystem and the innovation which is going to come from making data accessible. And we hope that it is on these technologies which allow trust to be there. And we expect a lot more innovation to come in the next 12 months. But I think even going further, our industry is absolutely going to be based on consented signals from consumers. Everybody here is actually doing something to make the lives of our consumers better, right? So keeping their privacy intact, keeping their consent intact is really important. And I think the role of collaboration is to allow partners to innovate by keeping the privacy of the consumers at the very heart of their thinking.
That's great. Thank you. Guthrie?
A big takeaway for everyone would be more hands means smarter work. Now, if you've ever done painting or yard work, more hands usually means less work. Collaboration is not less work. But more hands and collaboration equals smarter work. You heard it from the panelists, right? My team could never replicate the knowledge and the expertise and the execution efficiency of LiveRamp or Trade Desk. And I think data collaboration is so important because you're doing this smarter work on behalf of brands, so better performance for advertisers, and behalf of target guests. More relevant ads, more timely ads, better outcomes for all. So more hands means smarter work.
It's another great one-liner. Overall, I mean, I think the personalized experiences do enrich. For the consumers, I'm biased. I think ads are additive to our everyday life, but being able to make sure that they're extremely customized and very relevant is just icing on the cake. So thank you all so much for sharing today.
Thank you.
I'm going to take you off the hot seat and close us out. So I think for someone like me who works with a variety of CPGs, this conversation was very motivating and very inspiring because it helps me realize that this buzzword, data collaboration, is not as ambiguous as it feels. It's actually fairly foundational to be successful. So open communication, frequent communication, trusted partners are the key to being successful. So hopefully everybody was able to take away one good nugget back to your businesses if you are exploring data collaboration in your future. So thank you for joining us, and thanks to all of you for sharing today.
Thank you, Monique.
Thank you.